Hey, what's up guys? John here. I cannot help but almost laugh at how ridiculous the amount of lies are that we're being fed. This one specifically really irks me. It's this 4-day work week. They're pushing this really hard, but it didn't start here. Let's look back just 2 years ago. Remember 2 years ago they were saying, you need to be paid more. You need to be paid a living wage. We need to take care of the employees. You need to help the Americans, right? That was pretty much the narrative. Bosses need to take care of the employees. What happened? Well, nothing. 25% inflation, many would argue, right? 3% wage growth in the last 12 months, right? In terms of pay. So employees are taking roughly, an 18 to 22% net loss for their income, right? To combat inequality. And so what we're seeing here is we're seeing the wages getting punished with their purchasing power. Two is that we were told people shouldn't go into the office. They don't need to go into the office and work from the office. They can work from home, right? So employers are like, okay, I'm supposed to pay more and then, lose company culture because people are just going to work from home, right? Okay. The next thing is now this 4-day work week. This 4-day work week, the whole narrative behind this is no, employers are going to get 100% of their employees, but they're just only going to get them for 4 days a week. Not 5 days a week, 4 days a week. Still have to pay 100% of the wages. So this is what they're trying to do. It's almost as if they're trying to impact or have some type of role in the employment here in America and overseas, UK, Canada, right? They're really pushing for this massive change. And the question is why? Why are they getting so involved? Why do they care so much? If we look at what's happened, their impact over the last couple of years has been $3,600 in stimulus checks, some unemployment benefits, some PPP loans. That's basically been it, but record high inflation. If you ask anyone, I guarantee you put 1,000 people in line that were working and you say, hey, what would you rather have? What you had 2 years ago in terms of your salary and your stability and your purchasing power, or maybe today you might have a little bit more freedom in your workplace. Maybe you can have some side hustles, but you're definitely struggling more. You definitely have more debt, right? I guarantee out of the 1,950 people of them would say, I'd rather have my my past financial position than my current one, right? And so here's what they're doing. The world's biggest 4-day workweek pilot program begins today. Thousands of UK workers are starting a 4-day work week from Monday with no cut to their pay in the largest trial of its kind. The pilot, which will last for 6 months, involves 3,300 workers spanning 70 companies ranging from providers, financial services, to a fish and chip restaurant. During the program, workers receive 100% of their pay for working only 80% of their usual week. Now, for me, let's say, for example, I had a business that had 1,000 employees and they all said, I want to work 4 days a week, but I want you to pay for 100% of my pay. I would ask myself, so what am I going to do myself for the other 3 days? Do I just take off or do I hire additional staff? Because if I hire additional staff, that would basically double my expenses almost. Right? And if my overall expenses are already increasing because of inflation, and then I have an increased tax bill and everything is going up, to me, this equals bankruptcy. This equals a massive problem, right? Not every business can be like, yeah, just work 4 days a week. I'm going to go to Bahamas for the weekend every weekend. Yeah. That's the narrative that they sell, that people should be entitled to working 4 days a week. Imagine what the real America, built 100, 200 years ago, 1776 until, a few years ago. Everything was built on hard work. People were working very hard. 1950s, 1960s, people were working 80 hours a week. They were really putting in work. Now, you want people to work 4 days a week. You want to pay them for 5 days a week and give them all these benefits and have no real stability because everyone's jumping from job to job. You get 3% of all workers leaving their careers every single month, right? It's massive. The program is being run by a not-for-profit 4-day work week autonomy, a think tank, and a 4-day work week UK campaign in partnership with research from Cambridge, Oxford, and Boston College. Sandra Rourke, brand manager at Pressure Drop Brewing, an independent brewery in London, told CNN Business that the company's biggest goal was to improve the mental health and well-being of its employees. The pandemic has made us think a great deal about the work and about people organizing their lives. We're doing this to improve the lives and the staff of being a progressive change in the world. Given the company manufactures and ships products, workers have less flexibility about when and where they work, O'Rourke said. but any difficulties in navigating holiday and sick leave would be tackled by the team, right? So they go on to say that researchers will measure the impact of new working patterns will have on productivity levels, gender equality, and the environment, as well as workers being, maybe it is better, right? I guess they would say for the environment, gas prices, things are too expensive. People, they say that it's bad for people to drive to work all the time, I guess, for the environment, right? Gas prices are too high. People can't even afford to drive to work, right? So this is where we're headed. We are heading in this direction, whether we like it or not. This is what's happening. And CNBC came out today. Would you like a 4-day work week? Here's how to convince your company to test it out. They're trying to get people behind this movement, right? I wouldn't surprise me if we start seeing unions pushing for this. Don't just make an appeal based on your desire to work fewer days. Instead, you should address everyday challenges companies facing. It should be presented in a solution to challenges of recruitment and retention and burnout and work-life balance, right? So this should be sold to your boss and saying, hey, look, if you don't want all these people quitting, they're not quitting because generally they hate the job. Mostly, they're probably quitting because they simply can't afford to just have one job. They have to have 2 or 3. And so they're constantly bouncing from one thing to the next because the world is so damn expensive now, right? And they're saying, okay, if you want to keep people, you need to just pay them more. Basically give them a 20% raise and have them work 4 days of work rather than 5, right? That's what they're essentially selling here. I'm not sure if you're going to get 4 days, you're going to get the same value from 4 days out of 5 than 5. I don't see it. In addition, many experts believe the adoption of 4-day work week will help employers attract and retain talent. Offering shortened work week certainly gives employers an edge in hiring. For employees willing to adjust their policies to reflect the demand for flexibility, they are at risk of losing talented people and could struggle to replace them. I'm not sure. What I actually think is going to happen as we continue rolling into this, employers are just going to say, you know what, forget it. What can I automate? What can I automate? What robotics can I bring in? What tech? Maybe I should, hire a team overseas. Maybe I should. People in America, they really expect this? Is this true? I can't tell. Maybe a certain group of people would like this, but for me, I worked very hard growing up. I always work hard. And the idea of just sitting home and doing nothing 3 days a week, I wouldn't be able to do it. And I wouldn't expect my boss to pay me for 5 days a week if I was only working 4, right? That's just me. I wouldn't feel right about it. Maybe other people would. But I do believe that all this is going to do is it's going to push employers out of business. It's going to increase the expectations from employees onto another third party, whether it be the government or their employer. But employers are just going to say, AI, robotics, outsourcing as much as possible if they can do it. We're going to see this change. I believe this whole movement with this 4-day work week it's really not American. That's my belief. I think that America is, we are the global reserve currency. We are the leader, or we were, that's changing. But we were because of what we produced. We were productive. Right now we're cutting out our production, and we are also cutting out our production in the workforce, right? So we're moving in this direction. Why, right? I leave that question to you. I'm curious. Drop your comments below. Why are we doing this? Is this a good thing to work 4 days a week versus 5? If you were a business owner, would you hire an employee and pay them for 5 days when they only work 4? What do you think? If you want to get started on YouTube, if you want to hustle on YouTube, you want to hustle online, cashnow.video. If you want to invest in real estate when the market crashes, cashnow.video. If you need help with your credit score, maybe you have a delinquency, maybe you have some problems on your credit report, you need assistance, I have an amazing credit repair team, cashnow.video. Subscribe, bro. Subscribe to my second YouTube channel. It's going to be a podcast and interactive show this upcoming week, as well as LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Everything is in the banner, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.